Hi, everybody. I'm Joyce Taylor, and this is King 5 Plus. 2 more games. That's what the Mariners have in front of them to make it to the World Series, if you can believe it. I should be wearing blue, right? Okay, after 2 wins on the road in Toronto, the Ams are playing at home tomorrow, Game 3 in the ALCS. This afternoon, we are hearing from the manager, Dan Wilson, also pitcher Ryan Wu, who is coming back from an injury. As you know, the Mariners beat the odds in Toronto after a pretty short rest, coming out on top yesterday 10-3. It would be the first time in franchise history that the Mariners have appeared in the World Series if they secure 2 more wins. Let's turn to T-Mobile Park, where the press conference just got underway a few minutes ago. Here's the manager, Dan Wilson.
First 2 games of the ALCS, the bullpen has really just stepped up. Just how impressed have you been by the performance of the relievers, and how ecstatic are you that you're going into these 3 home games with pretty much all of them on decent rest?
Yeah, this has been, down the stretch especially, has been a big strength of ours, has been the bullpen. And I think that the bullpen and actually the starters work very well together, and the way it has worked out has gone, fairly smoothly. And you give, like we've said before, you trust all of our guys, and whenever you give them the ball, they're going to do the job, and yesterday was no exception. A couple of guys giving us a couple of innings was huge, and allowing the offense to kind of break it open a little bit. And so it was a good bullpen series so far, and looking for that to continue as we go forward.
Questions for Dan in the 3rd row on your left.
Dan, in a series and a half now, you've seen basically all your pitchers build up that postseason experience. How have you seen that kind of, get more relaxed on the mound, or be able to understand the moment a little bit more?
Yeah, obviously the experience of it's huge, and we've talked about that all along. Just getting your feet wet, getting a chance to get out there and get that first one under your belt, and it does take a minute. And I think the way we've seen our guys adjust to it, it's been great. This is a group that's tight. The whole pitching staff together is tight. They share information. They talk about it. They let each other know what it's like, and so they're a little bit more prepared too. So, it's good knowing that these guys have had a little bit of experience now under their belt, and they're ready to go.
We'll stay over there on your left.
Dan, from your standpoint here, to be back in Seattle ahead 2-0, what is the word or the feeling I think that, embodies the team right now when you think about being in this position to come back home and have potentially 3 in front of you here?
Yeah, obviously it's a very advantageous position. We're excited about that, but there's work to do here, and I think the focus is tomorrow night. That's where our focus goes, and that's kind of how we've done this, all along. Is just we're taking it one day at a time. It sounds very cliche, but you take it one step at a time, and tomorrow night we're looking forward to getting back out there. Taking in the atmosphere here at T-Mobile. We know it's going to be an awesome atmosphere here for baseball. So that's where our focus lies. We get back to work. I think, as we've talked about the pitching, it's been so solid, and offensively able to do some great things. So both sides of the ball, we just need to continue to keep doing that, and I think that's the focus going forward.
Up front on your left, Dan.
Kind of similar. I was going to similar question, but I'll try to go a little deeper. Just the importance of the details. You've talked about that from day one. Just important of the details, each pitch, each at bat.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we've seen, we talk about the postseason where little things make big differences. We've seen that in a lot of these postseason games, not just our games, but in all the games. And so you focus on the details. You know that each pitch has magnified significance. You know that each out makes a big difference. Each at bat can be huge. So I think we've talked about it with our offense that you start stacking those tough at bats back to back, and over time you start to wear down pitchers, and that's when we're at our best. So yes, each pitch, each at bat. Those are all very big things here in the postseason, and our guys know that, and that's why our focus continues to be, tomorrow night, and we'll get back out on the field and get started again.
Right up front, Dan.
Kind of continuing on that train of thought of just the subtle differences, ALDS, you guys came back home. It was win or go home. You knew the situation. This situation, a little bit different, have an opportunity to close it out. Just what is the kind of difference or variation in pressure compared to having that lead with an opportunity to close it out at home compared to, win or go home?
Again, I think we take the same mindset. We go out and we play good baseball tomorrow night. That's our focus, and I think that's where we're at as a team, and that's what our goal is to come out tomorrow and continue to do the things we've been doing, and that's the hope, and that's what our preparation will be, geared towards, and we'll do the things that we've been doing on the mound, preparation-wise. We'll be doing the things offensively that we've been doing preparation-wise, and we'll be ready to play at game time.
Second row on your left, Dan.
Dan Bryan's going to be up here in a little bit, and I'm just wondering A, if there's any updates with him, and B, just how vital he is to you guys going forward, even on a limited pitch count.
Yeah, I think all reports have been good as we had expected, and continues to make his progression. Obviously the live ABs the other day was a big step for him. He felt pretty good yesterday. I think he's going to get out and throw again a little bit today. Getting him back, one of the guys that has really led this staff this year, obviously will be huge for us. And whatever that looks like as we get into the later part of this series, but getting him back and getting him healthy is the key. And he's getting close.
And the third row on your left.
The Blue Jays are a team that don't strike out, but then your pitching staff dominates the zone, right? So this has set up this really interesting kind of chess match. The Blue Jays hitters have said they don't mind going down 0-1 because they'd rather, and not swing at a pitcher's pitch early in the count, because they'd rather be 0-1 than 0 for 1. So how important is executing that first pitch for your pitching staff? How pleased have you been with how that's gone?
Yeah, I think, that is what we talk about a lot as an organization, is winning that 0-0 pitch. And, the quality of that pitch is certainly important. But getting strike one is big. And we've talked about controlling the count and how different it is when you're ahead in the count. And I think, with the hope being that even if it's a team that doesn't strike out as much, you're hoping to get weaker contact. When you're ahead in the count, you're going to get weaker contact. So I think our guys have done an outstanding job of getting ahead and doing that. And that's what we will continue to prepare for and keep doing as we go along in the series.
Second row up front, Dan.
Dan, having that advantageous position, it feels like maybe your group of guys, more than most, understand that situation. That there's a good group over there, that they're not going to take it lightly. They're going to keep grinding and all that. What is it about your guys that, they're still going to be locked and they're not going to let this 2-0 lead kind of get ahead of itself or anything like that?
Yeah, I think that's who these guys are. We talk a lot about Cal and the season he's had, not getting wrapped up in it and keeping his humility about him as he's gone through it, and has allowed him to continue and be consistent. I think that's a big part of it with a lot of our guys. We understand how fickle this game can be, and so each night is important, each detail is important, that's why I think we go about it very consistently. We prepare the same, and I think that they'll, again, like I said, they'll be ready tomorrow night to go.
On the third row on your left, Dan.
Dan, we saw how the matchups between the hitters and the relievers kind of evolved in the ALDS, which with every single outing and every single game. How much can hitters learn about relievers in a series length? And then with that being said, how big is it that you get through the first two games only throwing each reliever once?
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, I think it does make a big difference. I think obviously seeing guys more and more does help you get a better picture of what they're going to do. And you can look at a guy on paper and understand on paper what he's going to do and what the ball might do, but then seeing it in the box is a different story. So I think as hitters, yes, that's great. And I think all hitters on all teams will share information. That's how you learn and you get prepared for your at-bat. So that's all been going on and as normal. But it is good to get in the box and actually see that, get an at-bat, and get a feel for what the ball's actually doing. So yes, I think it's great that we've been able to only have a couple guys go out there, on a couple outings, and hopefully that helps us as we go forward.
A couple last ones. We'll stay in the same row.
What makes Josh Naylor so good at that high and away pitch? It's a pitch that's a foot outside. You don't expect him to do damage on it. And then we saw it against Skubal with the double. We saw it in the series with the Blue Jays. What is it about his swing? How does he get to that?
I mean, he's just, number one, as I've said, he's smart and headsy, and he can, maybe think along sometimes with pitchers. But I also think, he's got the ability, his swing has adjustability to it. And when he sees a pitch up in the zone, he's able to stay really short and get on top of it. And that's the key. You're right, that the double off of Skubal was huge, to be able to go up there off of the velo that he was throwing and to be able to hit that to left field like that, that really requires you to get on top of the ball, and we've seen him do it over and over again, and that's just because his swing is so adjustable.
Anything else for Dan before we let him go? All right, Dan, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Brian will be down in a
So you've been listening to Mariners manager Dan Wilson, who said we're just taking it one day at a time, and right now the focus is tomorrow. Pitcher George Kirby is going to take the mound. Right now the M's sitting in a pretty good position, up 2 games with 2 more to go. This is King 5 Plus, and you can catch us here tomorrow for pre- and post-game coverage. For now, I'm Joyce Taylor. I'll see you later tonight for King 5 News. Bye-bye.